Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on this pre-recorded uh, Poseidon Gaming Emporium kind of special, I guess. I'm answering a question that was posed from a live stream on George CY's uh, dice mechanics, you know. And what it is Carlos asked the question: how high do you determine when you are going to throw the dice? How high off the table? Okay? Well, here's the answer. It's different for everybody. It's super different because my arms are shorter than George's, I assure you. So he can get away with having them, start at the table and come up and over, but his release might be 4 inches longer, so he's here in this zone, but because my arms are shorter, mine are back here further, and so that arc might start way sooner and land shorter, so I got to throw them harder. It's different for everybody. So to answer the question, you got to throw dice yourself to know, and you got to practice it. Now you can use something like this, to determine how high and how deep and how long the arc goes, as they come up, right? How long are they flat? Is it a flat trajectory? Is it a super arc and kind of dive bombs down? Takes a little bit of time to make one of these things, but all it is 1 inch squares. Each one of these is 1 inch. The average diamond, not the average, the height of the diamonds are 11 inches tall consistently. The rails can be a little higher, a little taller, just depending on, the casino, how tall off of the ground they have it. So there's no real major standard there. But they're pretty close, And so you got to throw. You got to throw a lot, right? You got to repeat on the same side of the table, meaning I have a soft side, which is this side right here. This is my soft side. If I want to track this and figure out where I should throw, right, inside of this, I have to do it on this side of the table. If I want to throw on the hard side and know where I should throw there, guess what I have to do? I have to go to the hard side of the table and do this all over. And you got to track it. You got to use a spreadsheet and you got to track it. You got to determine, was it close? Was it from the wall? Was it back here? Was it offline? Were you trying to hit over here and you hit here? Did it go up and then hit the back of the wall and come down? I mean, these are things that you got to understand what's going to happen to these dice. And it's random, but here's the fun part. It's only random once it lands on the table and hits the wall, right? Everything else we can influence, okay? How hard, how soft, how high, how low, how fast, right? Spin, no spin, stacked, not stacked. That's what we can control from our hand to the contact, right? That's what we can control. And if we can get consistent here, from here to here, from start to finish, that's where the influence happens. Everybody's like, oh, you can't predict the numbers. You're right, I can't, right? But what I can do is repeat step 1 through 3 first. Then it's up to the dice and me repeating the consistency that works. When I throw off, when I'm offline, I'm over here, what do I expect? Do I expect the same consistency? No, right? I expect bad results. If you watched any of my lives, you'll see, oh crap, I threw it to the corner, that's bad news. Oh man, they're offline, they're over here, they separated. I talk about it, I speak about it. I let you guys know as soon as I realize, bad throw. Offline. Oh no, threw it to the corner, threw too hard, threw too light. Okay? So understand that. So let's show what you can see. Okay? So here's the dice set. I'll just do the quick little 2-1-4-1. Okay? And I'll let you see them fly through the air. And you got to do this. You got to check it in slow motion. I'm looking for about 12 to 14 inches on the low side, maybe a little higher on on the upside. And here we go. That was a little bit low, and I got a 6-3 yo, 6-3 yo, right? And so now you would track that, right? You would look on your cameras, roll it back. Did I land short? Short. Did I land long? Did I jam it? What did they fly around crazy? Was I in the right height zone that I think I should be at? Right? Did the dice do some weird stuff in the air? You know, are you trying to import spin? And you would track it, right? You would put it in a spreadsheet and you would track it. And if you don't do this, how are you going to know, right? So then you do it again, right? You set it up. 2-1, 4-1, Mr. Crab Grip, right? And you get in your position, you line it up, right? Calmly think about it, focus, right? Try to reproduce what it's going to be like, and then you throw the dice. Felt decent, but the dice looked weird. One got higher than the other, right? Right here. So once again, 3, 5, 8. Guess what you do? You go back, you look at it, you track it, you put it in the spreadsheet, you talk on film so you hear it. That felt good. That was high. The dice looked weird. And then you figure out how high it was in here. And you do this again and again and again, right? I know it's boring, but guess what's not a good feeling, right? Other than boring. Losing money. When you go into the casino and you get wrecked because you couldn't recognize that you were throwing horrible, right? You were throwing up here. Maybe the stick man was a big dude and you had to reach out further, right? And you have to reach out here further, to be able to get to the position you want. That affects everything, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? I'm not saying I'm a pro by any stretch of the means, but what I am saying is if you don't track something, you might as well just go in there and throw random. You might as well just go, whatever. So, I hope this helps. I hope you will take my advice and, practice. It doesn't take much to make one of these. It was I think this was $5 for the poster board and a marker, and 1-inch squares. That's all this is 1-inch squares. And you can count upwards, and figure out how high it is and determine, oh my gosh, 26 inches, or better, or higher if you choose to go really high, that works for me. Anything above 14 is bad, depending on your dice throw, depending on the table, depending on how far back you throw. All of that plays a part. You got to practice. You got to put in the time, and if you look at time compared to what I've been throwing, I'm still an amateur. I have not put in the hours, During COVID, I shut down. I stopped throwing dice. And I look back on it now, and that was a dumb move. That literally was a dumb move. You know how many throws I could have had in practice underneath there? There was nothing else to do during COVID other than getting sick, which I had it 3 times, by the way. It sucked every time. So, crap, I said that word, didn't I? I'm probably going to get flagged on this video. Oh, well, anyways. I hope this helps. I truly, truly hope this helps. And there's a part 2 to this, and I'll get into that part later when I recreate the little props that I'm going to use. And I'll show you how I set it up. I got to recreate them because I kind of tried to make some earlier and they didn't really work out the way I thought they were going to. So I'll rework it and I'm going to show you going from an amateur to a journeyman to a pro, right? And what that means and how to get there, okay? And I assure you it'll be a fascinating ride. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your time. And I look to hear, from you in your comments down the road of wow, this changed nothing or this changed everything or it changed something, Feel free to call me out if you think I'm bullshitting about anything. So this is how I do what I do. I hope you endeavor upon it as well. thank you so much for your time again. All right? And may the dice be in your favor.